Hey guys, this is Robert C. States here. Today we brought on Nick, who's a personal finance coach. We're going to talk about personal finance and some real estate a little bit, about investment and things like that. So let's talk about you a little bit more, Nick, first. Who are you and what do you do?
So in a nutshell, my name is Nick. I'm a financial coach. I work with millennials, recent college grads, entrepreneurs, and Team USA Olympic athletes, and really empowering people around their money and transforming their relationship to it. I'm also a professional speaker, and in October I'm doing a West Coast tour along 33 colleges and universities.
And you also coach a lot of students, right? Clients?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, let's talk more about personal finance, millennial versus the older generation. What are the differences between these two? How do they normally finance their finance?
Yeah.
What are the differences?
So there's a lot of them. I mean, I'll touch on a few of them. The first one is kind of, the value and importance that millennials place on things and experiences is very different than the older generations. So that's the first thing, right? If you look at an older generation, they also have a view of what retirement looks like. Oftentimes they may have like a pension, Social Security.
That's right.
Whereas millennials, which, if you're 25, you're quote unquote 40 years out till 65. Who knows what Social Security is going to look like, and we don't have pensions, right?
Yeah.
There's 401ks and all that. So there's a huge shift in the financial industry and how people relate to money.
About money.
Around.
You mentioned you have a couple clients who hasn't already retired at 30 something years old. Can you talk a little more about them?
Yeah. So the clients that are retired early. What we need, so finance is when we break it down, it's very simple, right? Like you spend less than you earn.
Yeah.
And when you're able to do that and accumulate a substantial amount of wealth, and you're living below your means, like you're actually able to retire and and not work at an earlier age.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people think they need to work till 65 and reach a particular age, and then they can retire, but really retirement is about how much money you actually have.
That's right.
Yeah.
So basically the amount that you have in your bank account and all that stuff. And also, want to ask you about happiness.
Okay.
What is happiness in the scale of money?
Where is happiness?
Where is happiness in the scale of money? Let's say where do you, are people more happy with 200,000 or are they more happy with 100,000? What define happiness as far as money, right? Like I'm sure you have gone through with a lot of clients.
Yeah.
Have you seen people with more money, more stressed out, or have you?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I think that's why people come to me to talk about that, because I think if you go to a traditional financial advisor, they're just going to look at the numbers. But I'm really interested in people's relationship to money. And so, I have a client who's a senior in college, earning minimum wage, working at Albertsons, or I guess now it's Safeway. And then I have a client who's an executive in ad tech, and he's earning $900,000 a year. Both of them are, I would say, equally as happy. And one of them is married, another one is college student. So it really depends. There's studies out there that say 75,000 is
the happy medium.
Yeah, and then everything else is like diminishing. But what I would say is, for me, in my opinion, the more money you have, the happier you are. Particularly, or especially, if you are spending money on things that actually make you happy.
Correct.
Yeah.
So have you seen more people now getting into real estate as far as rental, investor?
Yeah, I think
investments and stuff.
I think with the generation changing, a lot of people are really interested in like passive flows of income.
Yeah.
Right. Millennials aren't necessarily lazy; they're just smart. Like
we're being educated more too, and as far as internet, online, and things like that. So.
Yeah. And real estate is an awesome way to receive passive income. So for depending on where you live, depending on how much money you make, I know clients who have clients, and I know people who are looking to save money so they can purchase a rental property.
Correct.
A lot of people will house hack, where they rent it out, Airbnb
each room.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that you could do with real estate for sure.
Got it. And so what are the top 3 things that you would coach your clients about around money?
The first one is to first distinguish what your inherited context of money is. So for me, for example, when I actually peeled the onion back and looked at it, how I related to money was that it was confusing. And so I never really understood how it worked. And that kind of had me avoid money up until like college.
Recently,
right?
Yeah.
So whether that's money doesn't grow on trees, or money is hard to come by, or money is always going to just be taken from me, so why save it? There's a conversation that human beings have about money that disempowers them and limits them. So the first thing I would say is to actually distinguish that, and that's what I do with my clients. The second thing is to then, from there, create why money is actually important to you. So if money is important because you want to travel, or if you want to be able to have flexibility, spend time with your family, or you like material things, or you really want a nice car, like figure out what that
to you.
Figure out what that is.
And what a motive, what it actually, once you get those, what feel do you get, and what actually makes an impact when you actually achieve those things, right? Okay.
And then the third thing I would say is like really to put a plan in place and have that accountability, and really managing what managing looks like is like being aware of where your money's coming in and out. In the first week that clients work with me, I've had clients save $350 in 1 week, $600 in 1 week, simply because they knew that they were going to have a conversation with me.
So the accountability that will keep them not to spend, go out and have steak dinner or whatever. Cool. I want to talk about a little bit about the rule of 72. What is the rule of 72, Nick?
So the rule of 72 is a rule where it's a simple formula that is a starting place. So it's not the truth, but it's a starting place, and it looks at how many years it's going to take to double your money. So for example, if you have $500,000, $500,000, and you want to turn it into $100,000, what you do is not 100,000,
double a million.
What you do is you take the number 72, and you divide it by the interest rate, or the rate of return.
That's right.
That you would get on your money, and that's how many years it would take to double. So to put on the court, banks are paying,
1%.
Let's just say 1%. And so if we put $500,000 into a bank account earning 1%, and we want to find out how many years, you take 72, and then we divide it by 1, and that equals
7.2. Well, 72
years.
Yeah. Wow.
So it would take 72 years if you just put your money in a bank earning 1%. And if you're anything like me, I'm not waiting that long. So I would be interested in earning a higher rate of return. So let's just say we earn 10%. If we earn 10%, you take 72 divided by 10. That's
7.2.
7.2.
There you go.
Then in 7.2 years,
my math is not good.
in 7.2 years, that $500,000 would then turn to $1 million.
And as far as real estate, over here in LA right now, it's about 6 to 10%. You can get 10% if you're lucky, if you're buying all cash, and 6% you can use the finance and things like that if you get lucky. Well, you have to have a person to find you that right property, and you have to submit the right offer to get into that property. However, would you agree the investment property and multifamily are a consistent source of income as a good investment vehicle for most of millennials?
If you can afford it and you have the money to be able to do that, definitely. It's a passive form of income that is, if anything, it's going to be consistent, but it's on the trajectory to always go up.
So investment property also have a possibility of appreciating in the value, right? And also your rent could also go up. So that's your purchase price are still to remain the same, but after 2 years, your rent go up. So that means your interest rate are now much higher. You're faster getting to that rule of 72, getting double your money. And also, tenants are there more consistently. If you have a good tenant, you know how to filter out your tenant. So, try to conclude that. I think, would you say real estate is a good investment, and would you suggest most of millennials to buy into real estate?
Yes, I would definitely say that. Real estate is a passive stream of income, and millennials and
you have seen people.
Totally.
A lot of people doing that.
Yep.
As a finance coach, of course. And anything to add?
No, I just thank you for having me on.
Of course, that would be awesome. Anyway, this is Robert C. States here. We'll see you next time. Again, this is Nick. You can find him in
Oxfords and Brogues.
Cool. Awesome. We'll see you next time.